Hello and welcome to page number 43 of chapter number 8. Information submitted for e-way bill can be used for filing GST returns. The part A of the e-way bill in EWB01 will be filled. Whatever details that have been filled in part A of the e-way bill will be made available to the registered person in the common portal who can utilize this information in GSTR number 1. In GSTR number 1, where B2B supplies are made, the invoice level details have to be furnished in GSTR 1. Already, who is the supplier, what is the name, address, GST number, what is the name of the recipient, GST number, name, address, what is the value of supply, what is the rate of tax, what is the amount of tax, be it CGST, SGST, UTGST, IGST, cess. Everything has been furnished in part A. So why again duplication work? They can be directly imported from the e-way bill system into the GSTR1. Sometimes what will happen is this part A will be filled up by an unregistered supplier or unregistered recipient. Now in this case what will happen is this information is made available electronically to the mobile number or email of that person. Okay. Now cancellation of e-way bill. Sometimes what will happen is you have already generated the e-way bill, but you are not transporting the goods. So goods will not be transported, or what will happen is the transportation will not be done as per the details which have been given in the e-way bill. Then what you can do is you can cancel the e-way bill on common portal within, that is e-way bill portal, within 24 hours of the generation of the e-way bill. So once 24 hours crosses, you can't cancel. But before you cancel, if the e-way bill has been verified in the transit in accordance with the provisions of Rule 138B, then what will happen is you will not be able to cancel that e-way bill. Now a e-way bill number which is generated is valid for a period of 15 days for updation of part B. Suppose part A has been filled up. So within 15 days what you have to do? You have to fill up the part B. You have to fill up the part B. Okay. Now validity period of e-way bill or consolidated e-way bill. Now what is the validity period? Now if the distance of the goods to be covered is within the country and it is up to 100 kilometers, 1 day, other than over dimension cargo. What do you mean by over dimension cargo? We will learn the definition or meaning. For every 100 kilometers or part thereof, you will have additional 1 day, and that too other than over dimension cargo. For over dimension cargo, for 20 kilometers it is 1 day, and for every additional 20 kilometers or part day you will get another additional 1 day for each 20 kilometers or part thereof. Now this validity is from the relevant date. Relevant date means the date on which e-way bill has been generated. The period of validity will be counted from the time at which the e-way bill has been generated, and each day shall be counted as the period expiring at the midnight of the day immediately following the date of generation of e-way bill. Now this can be understood with the help of an example. Now the validity of the e-way bill will start when the first entry is made in part B. So the validity will not be start at the time of filling of part A. The validity will start when the first entry is made in the part B of the vehicle number, or first transport document number is entered in case of rail, air or ship transportation. Now, where any subsequent entries are made in part B, again the validity will not be recounted. Validity period will start at the first entry of the part B. Now let us understand the validity with the example. Suppose e-way bill is generated at 4 a.m. means midnight 4 minutes, right, on 14th of March. The first day will end on 12 midnight of 15/16, means 15th night it will end. 14th night this is generated. The first day will end on 15th night. Second day will end on 16th night. 12. Okay. Now suppose an e-way bill is generated at 14th night 11:58 p.m. Then first day will end on 15th night. First day will end on 15th night. Second day will end on 16th night 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. Okay. So let us say on 14th night 9 p.m. the e-way bill is generated. Now you come to 12 a.m. on 14th night. Okay, you come to 12 a.m. on 14th night. Right? From there, 15th night 12 a.m. the one day will be counted. So from this 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. one day is not counted. Okay. Next. A consignor handed over the goods for transportation on Friday to a transporter. Means part A has been filled. The assigned transporter starts the movement of goods on Monday. So this fellow should fill the part B on Monday. Then the validity will start on Monday. The validity period of e-way bill starts only after the part B details are updated by the transporter for the first time. Okay. Consignor will fill the part A on Friday, hand over the goods to the transporter. Transporter is ready to move the goods. Now he has to fill part B. Part B can be filled on Monday, and the validity period will commence on Monday. This has been clarified by press release dated 31st March 2018. Now in the validity period, we came across the terminology over-dimensional cargo. What do you mean by over-dimensional cargo? Means cargo carried as a single indivisible unit which exceeds the dimensions prescribed in Rule 93 of the Motor Vehicle Act. Okay, and these rules are made under these motor vehicle rules, rule number 93. These rules are made under Motor Vehicle Act 1989. Sometimes the extension of the validity period can be made by the commissioner for certain categories of goods. The commissioner can extend the validity on the recommendations of the council, and that too by way of a notification. Now, The extension can be made for certain categories of goods which are specified therein. Sometimes the extension can be sought by the transporter in exceptional circumstances. This include the exceptional nature of the goods that are being transported, the transshipment issues. Because of these issues, the goods can't be transported within the validity period. Now, the transporter may seek the extension of the validity period by updating Part B. If the consignment is not reached the destination within the validity period due to exceptional circumstances like natural calamity, law and order problem, transshipment delay, accident of the conveyance, etc., he has to give the detailed explanation while seeking the validity period, while seeking the extension of a validity period. Now, this extension of validity period can be sought before 8 hours and after 8 hours. Now, 12 midnight is the expiry. So, from here 8 hours, from here 8 hours. So, within this period, the extension can be sought. Okay, next. This has been clarified by frequently asked questions on e-waybill portal. Acceptance of e-waybill. The e-waybill once generated by one of the stakeholder, be it the supplier, be it the recipient, or be it the transporter, then what will happen is the supplier, if he is registered and the information is recorded in part A, which has been furnished by the recipient or transporter. Suppose the recipient of the goods is arranging for the transport. Then part A will be filled by the recipient. Okay. Sometimes the transporter may fill up the part A. So this information when filled in part A will be notified to the supplier if he is a registered person. Now if the recipient is registered, the part A information, if it is filled by the supplier or the transporter, now the recipient will get the information with regard to the e-waybill on the common portal. Now, the supplier or the recipient, whenever they receive the communication with regard to the e-waybill, has to accept or reject that e-waybill. Now, the person to whom the information in part A is made available does not communicate the acceptance or rejection within the specified time limit, then it will be deemed that the waybill has been accepted by both the parties. Now, within what time the acceptance is to be given? The acceptance is to be given within 72 hours of the details being made available to him on the common portal or time of delivery, whichever is earlier. Before that time, he has to give acceptance. If acceptance is not given, it is deemed that this e-waybill has been accepted by both the parties. If an e-waybill is generated in one state, again, if the goods passes through other states, it is not necessary for them to generate e-waybill for each and every state through which they pass. Only one e-waybill is sufficient for all the states. So, a e-waybill generated under Rule 138 is valid in every state and union territory. Some more additional points we have to keep in mind is E-way bill is not at all a valid document if it does not contain the vehicle number. Vehicle number is to be filled in part B of the way bill. That is GST EWB01. E-way bill cannot be edited. At the time of generating the e-way bill, if any errors or mistakes creep in, there is no question of editing. But there is a facility for cancellation within 24 hours. That we have already discussed. The vehicle number can be updated any number of times in part B. Okay. This is applicable especially for transshipment. But whenever a proper officer intercept the vehicle, then that vehicle number should be in the e-way bill. So latest updation should always be there. The latest vehicle number should be contained in the e-way bill and match the vehicle carrying in case checked by the department. Sometimes e-way bill is not required to be generated. Means though the value of the consignment exceeds 50,000 rupees. There are two cases wherein even though the value of consignment is less than 50,000 rupees, you need not issue you have to issue a way bill. But if it exceeds 50,000 rupees, compulsorily the e-way bill has to be issued. But still, even that case also, there are certain exceptions. What are the exceptions? Where the goods transported are LPG for supply to household and non-domestic exempted category customers, e-way bill is not required. Kerosene to be sold by PDS, public distribution systems. Postal baggages by the Department of Posts. Natural or cultured pearls, precious, semi-precious stones, precious metals, and metal clad with precious metal. This is chapter number 71, goods. They don't require e-way bill. Jewelry, goldsmith, silversmith, wares and other articles. This also chapter number 71. Way bill need not be generated. Currency, way bill need not be generated. Next, used personal and household effects. Coral, unworked, worked coral. This is the HSN codes. For these items, way bill need not be generated even the value exceeds 50,000. Non-motorized conveyance. If you are transporting through a non-motorized conveyance, means human driven carts, like that. Now, goods are transported from customs port, airport, air cargo complex, land customs station to inland container depot or container freight station for clearance by customs. Okay. So that in between transit period, no need to generate e-way bill. Movement of goods within such areas which are notified under Rule 138.14d of the state or union territory GST rules in a particular state or union territory. So this is state specific. In the state rules, you have to go to rule number 138 sub rule 14 clause D. There, what under that rule, what are all the notified areas? So in that state, in that area, for movement of goods, way bill is not required. Goods other than de-oiled cake being transported are exempted from tax. Wide notification number 2 of 2017, rate notification dated 28/6/2017. So for exempted goods which are exempt by notification number 2/2017, except de-oiled cake, no need to generate e-way bill. Alcoholic liquor for human consumption, this is a non-GST item. Petroleum crude, high-speed diesel, motor spirit, natural gas, aviation turbine fuel, these are non-taxable items. Alcoholic liquor is a non-GST item. These 5 items are non-taxable items. Now for this you need not generate e-way bill. No supply goods under Schedule 3. If it happens to be a no supply under Schedule 3 of the Act, no need to generate e-way bill. What is there? Goods being transported under customs bond from inland container depot or a container freight station to a customs port, airport, air cargo complex, land customs station, or from one custom station or custom port to another custom station or custom. Here friends, this customs duty you will learn at your final level. The customs duty chapter will learn at your final level. Now here what happened, from customs port, it went to inland container depot. But here what is happening, from inland container depot it is going to customs port. So one will be in respect of import of goods, another will be in respect of the export of goods. Here it is customs port to container depot, but here it is container depot to customs port. In both the cases it is not required. Under customs supervision or under the customs seal, if the goods are moving under the customs supervision or under the customs seal, then also e-way bill is not required. Goods are transported in transit cargo from or to Nepal or Bhutan. No. Goods transported are exempt from tax under notification number 7 of 2017. That is supply of goods by the CSD to unit run canteens, okay, or to authorized customers, and supply of goods by unit run canteens to authorized customers, okay. So, and also notification number 26 bar 2017, supply of heavy water nuclear fuels by Department of Atomic Energy to Nuclear Power Corporation of India. So these goods which are exempt by these notifications, for them also there is no need of generation of e-way bill. Any movement of goods caused by defense formation as a consignor or a consignee. Consignor of the goods is the central government of any state or local authority for transportation of goods by rail. So this is central government or a state government or local authority. If it is transporting goods by rail, there is no need for generation of way bill. Empty cargo containers are transported, no need of way bill. Goods are transported up to a distance of 20 kilometers from the place of business of the consignor to a weighbridge, or from weighbridge back to the place of business, subject to condition that movement of goods is accompanied by delivery challan issued under rule number 55. So you want to weigh your goods, so you will load into the goods carrier, then take it to the weighbridge, okay. Next, if the distance between the place of business of the person and weighbridge should not exceed 20 kilometers. empty cylinders for packing of liquefied petroleum gas, and these are moved for reason other than supply. Empty cylinders for packing of LPG. So in your for your domestic use, what will happen is they will supply cylinders. At the time of bringing the filled cylinders, it is exempted as given in the first point. As given in the first point. Okay. Now this fellow will take back your cylinder once it is consumed. So that empty cylinders, when they take back also, no need of generation of e-way bill. Now, documents and devices to be carried by person in charge of the conveyance. Now, along with the conveyance, invoice or bill of supply or delivery challan, as the case may be. If it is a taxable supply, it will be invoice. Both taxable and exempted bill of supply will be there. And for non-supply, delivery challan will be there. So for both exempt and taxable, you will issue invoice cum bill of supply. Now, a copy of e-way bill in the physical form. So this fellow has to carry invoice as well as e-way bill, or he can carry the e-way bill number in the electronic form or map to the RFID, means radio frequency identification device. This RFID devices will be embedded into the conveyance. Except in the case of movement of goods by rail or by air or by vessel, means for road transportation they will use this RFID. They will be used in the manner as may be specified by the commissioner. Sometimes what you can do is, instead of carrying with the conveyance the physical tax invoice, they can carry the invoice reference number. So what this registered person has to do is, he has to obtain invoice reference number from the common portal by uploading it on the said portal. Now tax invoice issued by him in the prescribed form and the same produce the same for verification by the proper officer in lieu of the tax invoice. What this fellow has to do is, on the common portal he has to enter some details. Thereby the invoice reference number will be generated. Now this invoice reference number generated will be valid for 30 days. So at the time of interception of the vehicle, what this person responsible or person in charge of the vehicle can do, he can produce the invoice reference number along with the e-way bill. Okay. Suppose the registered person will not have to upload the information in part A of the e-way bill, then the same shall be auto-populated by the common portal on the basis of information furnished in the prescribed form. So what will happen is, if a invoice reference number is being generated, then this fellow supplier need not fill the part A of the e-way bill, because in part A of the e-way bill the invoice details are going to be uploaded. Once this fellow is generating the invoice reference number by populating the certain details given in the invoice, again there need not be any duplication, because from the here it will take to the e-way bill portal automatically. Okay. Document in lieu of e-way bill. The commissioner by notification require that a person in charge of the conveyance can carry the following documents instead of e-way bill, that is tax invoice, bill of supply or delivery challan. Okay, instead of e-way bill, what they can do, they can carry the tax invoice or bill of supply or delivery challan. Okay. Suppose it happens to be import of goods, bill of entry needs to be carried instead of e-way bill. So what is this bill of entry? What is this concept of importation of goods under customs, etc. will be discussed for you at your final level. Okay. Now, verification of documents and conveyance as per Rule 138B. The commissioner or an officer who is empowered by the commissioner may authorize the proper officer to intercept any conveyance, to verify the e-way bill or in the physical or electronic form for all the interstate and intrastate movement of goods. So where the goods are moving on a conveyance, then the commissioner or the officer empowered by him may authorize the proper officer to intercept the conveyance, to verify the e-way bill. The e-way bill may be in the physical form or electronic form. This can be done for interstate movement as well as intrastate movements. The commissioner can also get installed RFID readers, means radio frequency identification devices. RFID means radio frequency identification devices, readers. Now the RFIDs will be fitted into the conveyances. Now if the reader is installed here on the highway, when the vehicle pass through, this reader will automatically read the content of the device. In that device, the e-way bill, electronic way bill number will be fed. Now, these RFIDs readers can be fitted where the vehicle verification of movement of goods is required, and verification of movement of vehicles shall be done through such device readers where e-way bill have been mapped with that device. The physical verification of the conveyance can also be carried out by the proper officer as authorized by the commissioner or an officer empowered by him. Now, on receipt of specific information regarding tax evasion, physical verification of the conveyance can be carried out by any other officer obtaining necessary approval, because here proper officers have to carry out the verification. But tax evasion information, if it has been received, then the verification can be done by any other officer other than the proper officer, but approval of the commissioner or a person officer authorized by the commissioner. From them they have to take the approval and they have to verify the or intercept the vehicle. Now, what does rule number 138 capital C provide for? Whenever an inspection of the conveyance has been done, the summary report shall be recorded online in part A of the prescribed form. Within what time? Within 24 hours. Final report will be in part B, recorded within 3 days from such inspection. So whenever a vehicle has been intercepted for verification, the proper officer or the any other officer who is authorized has to fill in online part A summary report within 24 hours of the inspection, and within 3 days from the inspection he should also fill the part B, that is the final report. Now the commissioner or any authorized officer, on sufficient cause being shown, then they can extend the time for recording the part B for a period not exceeding 3 days. Part A has to be the period of 24 hours, or as the case may be 3 days, shall be counted from the midnight of the day on which the vehicle was intercepted. Means this midnight concept we have already discussed previously. So within 24 hours of the inspection, part A should be filled. Within 24 hours, this 24 hours will count on the day, the midnight of the day on which the vehicle is intercepted. But the final report is to be given in 3 days. But this can be extended by further 3 days. But this 24 hours report can't be extended. Now, suppose in the Andhra Pradesh, the vehicle is intercepted at Vijayawada. It is going to Chennai. Now, again at Tirupati or Renigunta, can this be again be intercepted? Is the question. Now, in the normal circumstances, in a single state, more than one verification should not be done. But it can be carried out when there is a specific information relating to the evasion of tax. So after here the vehicle is inspected, now there is no issue or there is no suspicion, then this vehicle is let off. But after the vehicle is let off at this point, after some time before it reached Tirupati, what happened is they got some information with regard to tax evasion. So the vehicle can again be intercepted at Tirupati, which is in the same state of Andhra Pradesh. Now, when the vehicle of X Limited has been intercepted and the vehicle is detained for more than 30 minutes, then what the person can do is the transporter can upload the said information in specified form on the common portal. So, if the vehicle is intercepted and detained for more than 30 minutes, what they can do is the transporter can upload the information on the common portal within this in the specified form. Now here we have used the terms transported by railways, transportation of goods by railways, transport of goods by rail, and movement of goods by rail. These terms have been used. Now, these terms will not include where leasing of parcel spaces by railways takes place. So, these does not include. So transported by railways, transported by of goods by railways, transport of goods by rail, movement of goods by rail, used in these provisions will not include cases where leasing of parcel space by railways takes place. Now, whenever you are transporting the goods, they should be accompanied by tax invoice or bill of supply. Now the person who is in charge of the conveyance have to carry a copy of tax invoice or bill of supply which has been issued in accordance with 46, 46A, 49 in case where the person is not required to carry e-way bill. So sometimes e-way bill need not be generated. There are certain instances wherein e-way bill need not be generated or e-way bill need not be accompanied by the conveyance. In such a case, what the person in charge of the conveyance should do is he should carry at least the tax invoice or bill of supply. Right? So friends, we have concluded this chapter. The next one is recapitulate, which has been given in the flowchart format, which you can go through at the time of your revision. And thereafter will be to the illustrations part. Illustrations part will be dealt in a separate session. And thereafter we have this one of the amendment in section 31A. Okay. Now, what is the amendment 31A which has been inserted? The government, on the recommendation of the council, prescribe a class of registered persons who shall provide prescribed modes of electronic payment to the recipient of supply of goods or services are both made by him, and give option to such recipient to make payment accordingly in such manner and subject to such conditions and restrictions as may be prescribed. So, suppose A supplied goods or service or both to B. Now, the government, on recommendation of the council, may prescribe that certain classes of suppliers should provide an option for making electronic payment. So, the goods have been sold for 1 lakh. Now, A should make a provision for electronic payment of the consideration. Now, this is inserted through by way of section 31 capital A. Right? So, friends, we have concluded this chapter. I will see you in our next session.